In early America, there are many stories of great black martial artists that have been obscured by time. Prior to the introduction of East Asian arts, black Americans, both free and bond, used the art of knocking and kicking to entertain, win prize money, and even their freedom, and for some, simply to be the best fighter. One such figure, whose name survives through history, was the knocker and kicker, Heavy Dick Miller. And this is his story. But first, smash that like button. Leave your thoughts in the comment section. Make sure you watch my video all the way through to the end. Subscribe if you ain't already subscribed. Share it with your homies so I can get my bread up. And if you're ready to take your striking game to the next level, head on to thefocusballs.com.
Get ready to take your striking game to the next level with the Focus Ball. Dramatically improve footwork, timing, head movement, hand-eye coordination, reflex, and overall fight IQ. It's lightweight and extremely portable, so you can train every time, everywhere. When you don't have a coach to do mitt work, get a Focus Ball. When you don't have a heavy bag to hit, get a Focus Ball. When you don't have a sparring partner, get yourself a Focus Ball. And when you just want to have fun punching and kicking, get a Focus Ball. When you train with the Focus Ball, you train your eyes and your brain to read punches so that you can hit and not get hit, making this very simple device a must-have for all combat sports athletes and enthusiasts alike. So if you want to take your striking game to the next level, don't wait. Get the Focus Ball now.
The story of Heavy Dick Miller comes to us from numerous elders of Ladies Island, South Carolina. And I personally got the story from T.J. Desch Obi's book, Fighting for Honor. Charleston, South Carolina is famous for a number of things, but among those is a dance known as the Charleston. And within the Charleston is actually a kata. Yeah, that's right, a kata, for an African martial art known as knocking and kicking. African martial arts always feature dancing as a way of practicing and drilling. Knocking and kicking eventually became watered down into only its dancing aspect, known as the Charleston, completely forgetting its combat aspect. But in the 1800s and prior, knocking and kicking was a deadly martial art practiced by black prize fighters. Many used it for survival, and just like capoeira, its ancestor is the art of Angolo from West Central Africa. Charleston was once the largest slave port in the United States, and this was a place where many West Central African warriors who were captured. And of these warriors, many of them brought with them their martial arts intact. Thus, Angolo became knocking and kicking in America. It was not uncommon for many of these warriors to be sold as prize fighters or even bodyguards. Many of them would find their way to freedom by whatever means and become prize fighters, or secure their freedom through prize fighting. As such, knocking and kicking would take firm roots in Charleston, South Carolina. And many great practitioners of the art would emerge in prize fighting in the South, as many of them were warriors who brought their martial art intact. One such prize fighter was an expert kicker known as Heavy Dick Miller. Known in the prize fighting circle for his kicking prowess, Miller was a feared kicker. Yet for his reputation, you'd think his nickname would be Heavyfoot or Fastfoot, or even deadly foot, or something of that nature. Not, but I'd imagine that he got his name from his lady friends. Miller was known for his high and inverted kicks, which is typical of capoeira and knocking and kicking, and he usually won all of his fights by kicks. Not much is known about Miller's personal life, whether he was a free man or enslaved, what year he was born, or when these fights took place. What we do know is that he fought with the style of knocking and kicking, which would suggest that his ancestry is Central African. But for him to be remembered up to now would suggest that he had a great reputation for knocking out a lot of dudes with his kicks. And his name would suggest that he also had a reputation for stretching women out too. Eventually, Miller would run into the natural enemy of the kicker, the wrestler. It's often said that wrestling outmotes kicking, and MMA has shown us numerous times where kickers were drowned by wrestlers. Yet there also exist numerous times where the wrestler has been KO'd in brutal fashion before being able to do anything to a kicker. Being a kicker myself, having fought wrestlers, I find that kickers have a small window to finish the fight with one shot before they get taken down. So kickers must have good punches to set up their kicks and good takedown defense, as well as skills to get back on their feet. And personally, I think being good off your back is a necessity for a kicker facing a wrestler. In the case of Miller, despite his high kicking acumen, the wrestler managed to evade his kicks, grabbing hold of Miller and throwing him to the ground, and then pinning him. Miller was unable to get the wrestler off of him, but when a woman named Nellie, presumably one of the women responsible for his nickname, shouted to him, "What's wrong with your head, Dick?" reminding Miller that his art was knocking and kicking. Knocking, of course, referring to headbutting, reminded Miller to use his head. With that, Miller headbutted the wrestler, knocking him out instantly and winning the fight. Not much else is known about Heavy Dick Miller's life, but what we do know deserves to be memorialized, as stories like his reshape the narrative of Black history and reveal the richness of our culture. So if you like this video, please share on all forums and social media platforms. These stories must be told by us.
Thank you so much for tuning in. Don't forget to like, comment, and share the video. It really helps the algorithm so that other people can find it on the platform. Remember to subscribe and hit the bell icon to get notified when the next video drops. And if you like this video and want to support this content, you can make a donation by hitting the Super Thanks button or Cash App $Focusball and request what video you'd like to see next. Thank you so much for tuning in. Till next time. God bless you. Don't know.